Welcome to VentureStep Podcast. We discuss entrepreneurship, industry trends, and the occasional book review. You've probably seen it on your social media over the weekend or the last week or so. 3D figurines, these animals being turning into plushies, all sorts of imaginative approaches on life and people. But there's typically a trend of these two, turning your pet into a plushie or turning a friend or your partner into this 3D figurine, almost into an action figure, collectible. That viral feature has pushed Gemini to the number one app, most popular app at the Apple Store, not Android, iOS. Let me repeat that. Gemini is now the number one most popular app, given this feature. Everybody's downloading it for the Nano Banana. The Nano Banana. And I think it's cool that the Nano Banana name stuck, because that's not what it's called. We'll get into a little bit more of that as in the episode. Today, we're going to be breaking down the Nano Banana, what it is, how it's working, and, well, not necessarily how it's working. I'm not going to talk about the models used. That might be a separate conversation. We can read the paper together. But we're going to be talking about how it's used, how it's different than ImageGen, and then also how it only does images and some examples. I have not tried these examples. These are legitimate real-time examples that I have made examples before the video, but I haven't tried them. I've got the photos, or they may or may not work. Who knows? We're going to do it live. So let's dive into the nano phenomenon. So Nano Banana was a code name at Google, and Google typically has these code names. I mean, a lot of companies do, like these big companies, they want to prevent people from leaking stuff. But Google's code name in this instance got leaked, and it's stuck. Like people appreciated Nano Banana more than Gemini 2.5 Flash. And so that's really what's stuck, where versus calling it what it is, we're calling it Nano Banana. I just think it's funny that the whole point of a code name was so we don't leak that, hey, we're working on a fast version of our ImageGen model. It's the Gemini 2.5 Flash. So instead of it calling that internally, because it's going to get leaked, everyone, it's going to get leaked, we're going to call it Nano Banana. So no one's going to know. No one's going to know what it is. And then it got leaked. And then the name was more popular than the actual, I guess the moniker was more popular than the official name of the product that they're rolling out with. It's comical because it doesn't really make sense that the code name got leaked and then that's what became the popular name for the model. It doesn't go with the branding. It doesn't do anything well with Gemini's branding. Like there's Gemini Flash, Gemini Pro, and it's like 2.5 Pro Flash. And then there's the Gemma models and these other things, and then there is Nano Banana. Okay. So Nano Banana went viral from these two pieces of turning their friends into the 3D figurines and your dogs into these plushy toys. And we'll try out some examples ourselves later on in the episode just to see how it works. I hope it works the way that I would anticipate it. But we'll see. I'm personally not on TikTok, nor do I spend a lot of time on social media apps besides X to look at tech news. So I didn't know of this trend, but I did read about the trend itself and saw some images of the trend simply because people were talking about the app becoming number one in the App Store and people couldn't believe it. And so Nano Banana did a really good job of this grassroots marketing within a small cohort on social media, especially TikTok. So I guess it's teenagers and kids, which is a great clientele to get hooked on your Nano Banana model, and then do all their schoolwork through your AI, and then they're addicted to using your tool for the rest of their lives. Like Google, that's Google's dream right there. That's Google's dream. So Nano Banana went viral, right? But what makes this AI model different than their previous approach, ImageGen? ImageGen had been around for a while, and I've used it sometime. One thing that I was going to say hate, but I don't really hate it. It's just inconvenient. It takes a long time to process an image because it's specialized in these high quality images that a lot of people just don't need, right? Like fundamentally, you don't need an ultra HD 12K TV. 1080p does just fine, or maybe you want 4K, but you don't need this crazy upscaled image on every image. And so ImageGen was really pushing the boundaries of what it would be for image generation. And it was a model first of its kind. And there's just a lot of good things that ImageGen was, right? But as things became more popular, you could process images faster. There's better models, better ways of doing things. And they've learned a lot, right? And they've also gotten data from users, right? That's another thing. Because previously, it's just like the tech nerds and the researchers that are using these tools and they find them interesting. But when ImageGen came out, or like the first versions of Chatgpt's, Sora, these other things like that, no one's really using them in a practical sense. They're more of like experimentations and I was going to say adoptions of imagination. And there's these cool niche tools that were created through enthusiasts. I mean, long term, there is a thought to move that into a commercialized setting or a setting that will produce potential revenue, but it's far away from that, and it has been for a while. So there's just not mainstream adoption of these tools, but that's since changed, right? There's a lot of interest in AI tools. ImageGen, as I talked about on the last episode with Luke Tapman, is more than half of the companies in the US are looking at not ImageGen, but generative AI for their company. And if half the companies are looking at Gen AI, that also means that people at those companies are using it or know of it. And I also talked about in the last episode that quite a few individuals have used or downloaded or partaken in AI, these AI chatbots. It's a significant amount. I don't recall the numbers off the top of my head. Talked about in the last episode near the beginning. So should have reminded myself before I recorded this one. But I say all of that to say this. AI is no longer this niche thing. It's becoming more mainstream. And that's clear. So they've got legitimate user data. This isn't the data of some enthusiast or some researcher. This is people that want to actually get stuff done and they want to do useful things, and they're not experimenting. They're there for a purpose. Whereas like 2 years ago when I was using it, I didn't really care what I got. I was just cool to be there. And I was just like, hey man, this is really cool. I'm glad you have me here. Whereas other people are going to the bar and they're trying to get a special meal or a drink that they really want, where I'm just there to people watch, right? There's people that are purpose-built, going to the app, trying to generate something useful. Whereas previously, people didn't necessarily care. They were just there to have fun. So this is a different clientele. And with a different clientele, there's different expectations. And the expectation from these users is it needs to be fast. And it needs to do the things I say it does. And then if I need to make changes, I could make changes on the fly. That's way different than ImageGen, because ImageGen was something that I talked about earlier, where it was upscaled, high quality images, whereas Gemini 2.5 Flash image creates images pretty quickly, and it isn't too worried about these crazy high quality images. They're quality enough. Like, believe me, some of them I saw, I was like, wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that was AI. They got me. So yeah, I just wanted to call out that ImageGen and Nano Banana are two different approaches, fundamentally because there were two different clienteles and two different periods of the marketplace. Now we're in the marketplace of users demanding useful stuff and it having higher expectations, whereas before it was more enthusiasts. So I thought that was important to add. So I guess let's talk examples, and then I could maybe talk about impact and whether it's hype or not hype, right? I don't want it to be discussing all of the impact of this AI tool, and it doesn't even do the things that we're talking about. So let's try it out. So let me get this tool ready. I'll share my screen. Okay, so the tool's going. I'll share screen. Gemini. Okay, so I have some prompts ready. The first one is the 3D figurine. So I've got to give it an image, press my prompt. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to turn myself into a 3D figurine. Trust me, I don't need this to be all about me. It was just more convenient to do photos of myself, simply because I didn't give people's permission to add them into the podcast. And I have friends, but also I want to be conscious of adding them to this content without talking to them. And I'm in a rush. I want to get this done. Not in a bad way, but it doesn't add that much more value for me to add another person. Oh wow, that's actually pretty good. What? Okay, so let me describe this photo to people that are listening and not watching the video. And if you like watching the video, you can look at that on Spotify or YouTube. But okay, so there's an image of me. I just got done with like a 14-mile run, and I'm at this park, and I've got blue running tights on. I've got white socks, white shoes, my Garmin watch, a soccer jersey on that I got in Mexico City. If you know the club, let me know. Say it in the comments. And then I've got my running vest on and a headband. There's a couple people in the photos, but I'm the main subject. There's trees that are changing colors simply because of how the way the light is reflecting off of the leaves. And then there's a streak of light crossing through the middle of the photo and piercing my shoulder. So there's a lot going on in the photo, and it could misinterpret some of the other people in the photo, but it interpreted me as the main subject, which was correct. And then I had asked it, take the photo of take the person in this photo and turn them into a high quality image, 1/7 scale resin figurine, place it in a collector's shelf next to other anime figures with dramatic studio lighting. And this is me. It looks, it is crazy how much it looks like me. Maybe my only commentary is my eyes look like that. Like my eyes in this one look a bit look a bit odd. But it looks pretty close to me. Yeah. I don't really have any, because if it's zoomed out, the photo is pretty far away, so it's picking up my facial features pretty well, and it even picked up the strings on the chest where I have from my running vest. 2 strings are running down the middle, and it picked up that those look to be. I can't really. I guess I can't zoom in. That's unfortunate. Let me just open this back up. It picked up that these are 2 separate strings, which is pretty interesting. It did a really good job with the vest. And this is the photo in general, because the photo is far away. So I'm pretty impressed. No joke. All right, well, it's a good start. So let's keep on trying to break the model. So I'm going to just for freshness and to have a control in place, I'm going to make a new chat every time, just to make sure maybe the chats might mess it up. You can never be too careful. So this one is transfer the dog in the photo into a cute felted wool plush toy. Give it an oversized stitched black eye and a slightly smiling expression. Place it in a clean on a clean white background. Wow, I need to really work on my reading skills. Oh, I deleted the photo on accident. Okay, so this is Lulu. I wish I could click on it, but she's such a cutie. She's a Shar-Pei, and she is our family dog. And this is a photo of her sneaking up on this chair while the house is under construction, because she wanted to be able to look outside, but she couldn't look outside because there was no place for her to go. Previously, there's a nice chair for her to look out and watch outside. So let's do this. And she's on a chair. The chair's similar color to her body, and there's only one real subject in the photo, so it's easy to describe and understand. Or I want to say decipher, but decipher and understand what's going on. I would just think that there may be some overlap with the chair, because the chair is the same color, but we'll see how it's handled. So add tools, create images, Nano Banana. And the images are created pretty quickly. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a bang up job right there. I mean, that's pretty good. I think that looks like Lulu did a pretty good job with making that look like Lulu. Such a cutie. Oh, Lulu. Lulu's so cute. So, okay, so it rocked that one. So we're 2 for 2 right now. We're 2 for 2. So let's try another one. The next one is going to be take a photo of somebody and no thanks. It's asking me to try their video model now. But let's take a photo of somebody and turn it into a cyberpunk. So I was going to use the coffee shop guy. I took a photo of a random man in a coffee shop, and it was a really dope photo. So let's see what happens. And these are quite quick. All right, I'll transform the person in the photo. Oh, did I mess up and not say tools? I want images. Take, upload, coffee shop. All right, let's try that again. Sorry. What's a really cool photo, honestly? I think this is like cyberpunk lighting. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. So let's see how that one goes. Once again, it's super fast. Surprised how fast it is. I've used it before, but I was doing things. I wasn't really watching it and coming back. This one doesn't really hit that well. I would say this is a 0.5. I mean, it does what I asked it to do, but it doesn't keep the same vibe of the bar. And it just kind of did whatever I wanted, which is probably my bad. It's kind of a bad prompt, but that's all right. Let me just try one. Let's just try another one. So recreate a scene of this photo using slow motion, figure eight includers. I don't know. Let's try this. That sounds crazy. So let's try that. So I was at Washington Park in New York City, and there was a dude in the fountain. And apparently in the morning time, you can go there if you want to see people, I guess, shower / bathe in the fountain. You can, but the water is just like this dark green color because it's the water's just dirty, and there's trash and stuff. There's not necessarily that much trash. Maybe that's not trash. Maybe it's an air bubble. But I mean, the water is not clean. Like I would definitely not go in the water. What? This image is crazy. It did something weird with my eyes. Like the AI model doesn't like my eyes. So this did not work. So I'll actually count this one as like this did not do what it was supposed to do. So, but it also isn't a single person. So I could try with that 3D photo and see if that works. We'll see. But yeah, it really messed with my eyes. It made my eyes all funky. It didn't do anything besides remove the man in the fountain, or crop the photo, and mess up my eyeballs. Yeah, I don't think this prompt is working. The prompt was recreate the scene in this photo using stop motion clay mayon figures. I butchered that. Give the characters visible thumbprints in the clay, slightly imperfect, handmade look. Put them on a miniature set. That was the prompt. So let me just make it something easier to do, and then we'll talk biz after that. So I have some modeling examples, but I also wanted to try something that people would actually use it for, right? Like people aren't going on here to do a lot of, like, the main users right now like are not business users. They're just people. Right, so I'm doing funky stuff that a person would do to mimic what would actually happen. Yeah, this didn't work either. Turn the person into this photo into a 16-bit art character from the classic SNES role-playing game. I'm going to say nothing happened. I don't know. It seems fundamentally not to be working. So we were 2 for 2, and I was very surprised. And now we are 2. Maybe just it did some weird stuff to my face. Maybe I have to get like a close up. Maybe I'll try Lulu because that's a close up. So let's try that. That's a close up. Turn this person. Change from person to dog. Maybe I'm being a little stubborn here. I'm trying to get this to work. Yeah, Yeah, it's not working. Okay, so I call it 2 for 2. I was so impressed with the first two, and I was like, what the heck? This is crazy good. But hey, it didn't work out. So now let's try something that I also heard that people are using it for. So I had an image of a model that is standing in like a nicely lit studio. It's got a nice background, wearing a shirt and jeans, got his hands in the pocket. So now I'm going to say, using the provided image, change the color of the model's shirt to navy blue. Let's see if that works. Dun, 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 dun. I was also messing around with this. Let's see. Dun. So the drum roll, and it works. It works. Wow. I mean, it does it. It does it pretty well. Preserve the image in every regard. It's literally identical. I can't tell. I'm trying to click back and forth to see if there's any weird stuff going on in the background, or if the light is reflecting weird on the guy's shoes, or if the veins are different on their arms, or if the hair is a little different. But I did a really good job of, I mean, that's really good. Okay. So now let's change the shirt. Let's keep the shirt as is. Change the pattern of the shirt to floral while maintaining the original fit and lighting. So now we're gonna keep it in the same chat and just see if we can keep making image changes to an image and get something completely different. Once again, never done this live. Never done it with the new model. Wow. That's so sick. That is so sick. That is crazy. So we went from a normal photo of a model, white shirt, hands tucked in pants, to changing the shirt from white to navy. And then we went from navy to a navy floral pattern. And the floral pattern consists of a navy blue base and red and yellow flowers. And that's a sweet, sweet shirt. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do, it will say replace the shirt the model is wearing with a black leather biker jacket. Keep the model same pose, face, and background identical. So now we're just completely changing the whole vibe. I wonder if this works. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. It's identical. It is identical. Wow. I mean, let's ask one more question. Let's say, I'll use the microphone. Okay, looks great. Can we keep the same model, take the biker jacket off, and then use the floral shirt that you provided earlier, and then have the model doing something with its face, like a pose that the model touches their face? We'll see. I mean, that's a hard one. That's a lot going on in that. No way. What? That's insane. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I speechless. I'm honestly speechless that was done. live, and flawless. Insane. Let's just go back and run it from the top. So this is the first image that you'll see. White shirt, hands tucked in, black shoes. It's kind of hard to tell the color of the pants given the background and the lighting, but it looks like this like greenish gray / black color. Changed the shirt to blue, navy blue, which looks really nice. Then I changed the shirt to this navy floral color. And then I changed this weird biker outfit, which was odd. It doesn't fit the outfit at all. But then I'm like, hold on, I made a mistake. Let's just keep the floral outfit and do a hand on face gesture. Crazy. I'm doing the same gesture. I don't look as cool, but I am so impressed. I was so impressed that I accidentally stopped my recording, and now I have to combine the two audios. But wow, that's really cool. Very impressed with what was capable there. I'm so surprised that it was able to handle that last request. Being able to understand not only the context of the photo that it generated, and then also the understanding of switching the two out, plus taking one of the hands out of the pocket and putting it on the face, and then understanding that the gesture that I was asking for was some kind of model-y type of hand gesture on the face to draw attention to the model's face and their arms and hands. And then the model was able to understand. It's kind of confusing how I'm saying model. Like there's the AI model and there's a legitimate subject model. But the subject model changed and put the hands on the face. The AI model was able to understand the whole thing. Right there, that's a big win. That's a big one. I am speechless. I am so surprised that Nano Banana was able to come through on that. So I'm going to chalk it up as I just had prompting issues, right? I don't think that Nano Banana failed on those other prompts. I'm just going to call it and say, hey, I was the one with the issues. So I'll give it a 2. So let's look at the prompts. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did 5 prompts. 2 of them are really good. The other 3 did not do so well. The first one that didn't do well was okay. It was more of like it didn't really listen to me, which is not correct, but still did what I asked it to do. And it asked me to confirm what I wanted, and I just said yeah because we're live. The last 2 didn't win, so I'm going to call it 2 for 2. And then it went 4 for 4 on the business application of changing the model stuff around. So let's call it a 6 and 2. I think that's good. We even count the ones that I messed up on. 6 and 2. That's decent. That's decent. That's really good. 6 and 2 is decent. Did not expect that it was able to perform in that regard. And I think it has every right to be number 1 on the App Store. For that kind of understanding, fast generation of images, plus the ability to understand the context of the images that are already generated and not distort the image that you're editing. Really cool. Really cool. In my opinion, that's a Photoshop killer. Why am I paying $29 a month or whatever it is for the cloud subscription nowadays to have access to the Adobe apps, to do this Photoshop stuff, when I can just ask for questions? Like it's good now. Like it's pretty good. 3 years from now, It's going to be crazy. And I'm not saying today it's a Photoshop killer. Like Photoshop has been around forever, right? But what I'm saying is, why would you spend time learning these tools, paying for them, investing all this stuff when you could ask AI to edit a one-off photo or, 20 photos, whatever it may be? If you're a professional and that's all you do, like weddings or these other events, then you're going to still need those tools. And I know you still despise them, but it is what it is. It's a necessary evil. But for other folks, you don't need that stuff. You can just do you and make a quick edit or change things around. Incredible. Such a big win for Google. Completely deserves its spot at number one. Very impressed with the quality of outputs and the consistency of following the prompt. We only had 2 losses, 6 wins. That's a good record. I think if you're talking playoffs, I think you're a playoff team if you go 6-2 and keep winning your games at that record. I don't know anything about football, but I think that's good. I don't even know why I made that joke, but wow. Nano Banana is the real deal and quite impressive. Best thing I've seen recently regarding AI, and I know that they're talking about just getting started and they're about to roll out the Flash 3.0 is what's rumored, and they're saying that it's better than the 2.5 Pro, which I'm very curious because Flash is Flash, like it's fast. And if you had something that good but also better than the Pro, I would be very interested because Flash is fast. It's still good, right? Like it's good for everyday tasks. But if you're asking complex stuff, it starts to struggle. Or if you try to do different things with templates, which is with the Google Gems is what they call them, then it sometimes won't follow your template. But if you use Pro, the Pro follows it every time. So those things. But Pro is slow. That's the issue. Is like it's not very fast. Like Flash. I'm Flash fast. That's what I want to say when I'm going to go buy shoes at the running store and I'm running around the store as a grown man. And they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, they're fast. I'm Flash fast. And I just running around. So hope you enjoyed this episode and you thought that it was cool and thought-provoking. If you've got any feedback, slot that in the comments on Spotify or YouTube. And of course, wherever you are in this world, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and wherever you are in this world, I hope to see you next week. Goodbye. Thanks for listening and tune in on the next episode.